Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks very much for joining us. We're tracking an interesting setup around New Zealand at the moment. We've got a very powerful high pressure zone down here in the white shading, and then to the north in the darker shading we've got low pressure. The low itself isn't very stormy, but it's just adding enough fuel to the big high pressure system to create this very windy southeasterly squash zone. If you're living in Hawke's Bay, Wairarapa, Gisborne today, it feels a little bit like La Nina, where you've got the rain clouds coming through, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but also the easterly winds coming in and the humidity. So let's take a look at the rain map for Auckland, because many of you might have had a rain forecast today, and you're wondering why it's been dry, especially if you're living further to the west of the city centre. But look at that rain, widespread, right out across Great Barrier Island, Coromandel Peninsula, Waiheke Island, they're all getting the wet stuff. And so are parts of the Hunua Ranges, but the city itself right on the borderline of it. So it's a frustrating setup when it's moving parallel to the city and not necessarily moving in. But there are some showers here that might still make it into the city, but rainfall totals won't be very much. But the main area of focus is actually out east around Gisborne and Napier, or really northern Hawke's Bay, Gisborne and East Cape, because with the low parts just to the north, this heavy rain is going to be off and on for the next 2 days, and so the totals are going to be quite significant. By the way, you can now see those live Met Service rain radars, real-time New Zealand radar. Go to weatherwatch.co.nz, click on maps and radars, you'll see it there, and on the right-hand side you can get into more detail with the high-resolution maps. And a big thank you to Met Service for helping us get that up on our Weatherwatch website. As far as rainfall totals are concerned, Gisborne and Hawke's Bay are definitely in the warning zone. The rainfall totals there could be getting up over 120 millimetres, even higher than that potentially in some pockets. So heavy rain coming through, slips, localised flooding, maybe some road closures as a result of that rain there. But everywhere else, the rainfall totals are only here around the 0.1 to 5 or 10 millimetres at the most, and that's over the next 2 days. So let's take a look at the map. This is today's setup. This is Wednesday right now. You can see that low to the north. It's not actually a storm because it doesn't have gale force winds all the way around it. It's got gale force winds on the southern side, and that's because high pressure down here is very powerful at 1037 hectopascals, and so that's why you see all those isobars, all the lines making the windy weather, especially over the North Island, where gale force winds are possible today at times. As we get in towards the next few days ahead, as we go into Thursday, there's the low. By the way, 1015, that's actually above average air pressure. It's technically into the high pressure area, but because it's spinning clockwise, it's still seen as a low. But the high down here, 1037, is very powerful. Even the low pressure up there isn't really low pressure. So all the windy weather is being caused by this big strong high, and that's encouraging those easterlies, making it wetter and colder over on the eastern side, but much warmer than average for many of you in the west, where it should also get sunnier. On Friday, that low is still sitting there, although it's not really called a low anymore. It's really just a trough, sort of a pothole in the sky, if you like. But some wet weather does push back into some other areas, maybe more in the form of some showers coming through, and the South Island still under high pressure. Another big zone coming in at 1029 hectopascals. So this weekend, the high pressure belt remains over the South Island. The low pressure area remains over the North Island. Groundhog Day. If you haven't seen that movie, we're in lockdown, go watch it. Well, some of us are in lockdown, I should say. So that's Saturday. Sunday doesn't look a great deal different either. It's quite remarkable how long this is sticking around for. But it does move further out to the east. But Hawke's Bay, Gisborne, again, that's a lot of cloudy, wet, humid days. I say humid because, you know, it's going to be raining and we've got moisture coming out of the subtropics, but it may not feel very warm. Humidity doesn't always equal warmth, by the way. That's what we call muggy weather. Humidity is just the fact that the air is very damp, and that's certainly what we've got there on Sunday. And our final map for Monday shows that low finally clearing off and most of the country dry. The sun should be coming back out in northern areas after a gloomy wee while. Make the most of it. We've got a few days of that before probably that next system comes in. Before I go, I got a question on YouTube yesterday about this. This is the UV map, and if it's showing, you know, we're all at the same latitude with Australia, why is it not showing the same across here? Let me show you what happens as we move through hour by hour. We'll put this up and we'll skip forward the next hour, and then the next hour after that, and then the next hour after that. So you notice that blob of purple and pink, which is the highest concentration of UV rays, is slowly moving along the planet. Think of it a little bit like you're sitting out here in a spaceship looking back at Earth or a satellite, and you're looking back at the reflection of the sun off the planet. Basically, that's sort of what you're seeing. That bright spot is where we're seeing the highest accumulation of UV rays, and it's also basically where the sun is reflecting the most on the planet. So it moves around each hour, as the planet spins, that blob moves further around the planet and heads off towards Europe and Asia and comes back around tomorrow. So there we go. I hope that explains it. That is all from me. We'll see you tomorrow with our next update.